Hey guys, Chris here with Project Life Coach. So today we're going to be doing a Theta Healing therapy session. So basically, it's basically like going to a therapist, and we're going to be doing basically two things. First thing is finding out what limiting beliefs you have, and number two, focusing on what you want. It's kind of like goal setting, but we're doing it from a really psychology, mental standpoint. So what we're going to be looking at today is friendships. For me, I have a lot of trouble. I'm really good at meeting friends, but I have trouble like having long-term friends. A lot of my friendships, they're really short-term, and I don't really have, best friends or friends for a really long amount of time. And basically, I want to transform my experience from short-term friends to something more long-term. A lot of times when I make friends, I feel like it's useless, what's the point? And these are my limiting beliefs. This is what's holding me back. Okay, so we're gonna explore this. So the other day I was at Barnes and Nobles, right? And I was just looking at some Star Wars stuff, and the Star Wars, we had some toys and art books, and I just started talking to all these people, and we really got along. And let me see. Yeah, usually friends who are unavailable. Interesting. So basically, shit. So basically, I have a tendency to find friends who are unavailable or live really far away. Like these people at the Barnes and Nobles, they were really close to me. Okay. I'm speeding this up, so it's a little bit quick. So I'm just kind of going through some of the beliefs I have, and I noticed that I don't typically. How do I say this? Well, anyways, I'm just going through some of my past experiences. Like a lot of times, I meet friends when I'm in Shanghai or Taiwan, for a short amount of time, or New York, and then I say goodbye. A lot of my friends, they're really ephemeral, really fleeting relationships. When I do encounter a situation where I could have a long-term friend, a lot of times I'm like, it's okay. I'm afraid of committing to this friendship, And again, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I don't want freaking people in the comments to be like, you should have long-term friendships, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know. That's why I'm doing this. Okay? And so I'm finding out what are my current limiting beliefs. And I'm asking myself these questions. So here's a good one. If you had friends you can hang out with all the time, what is bad about it? And in my mind, I realized, I'm afraid if I have a really best friend, it'd be time consuming, it's annoying, and you hang out with them so much, it's no longer fun. And these are fears I have. And maybe it's happened before. And these experiences have kind of transformed my expectation and what it is. And I typically, here on the other side, right? How does it serve you? It is fun and exciting sprint over get back to work. So I tend to make friends with really ephemeral, fleeting relationships, It's like really exciting, and I find those more fun. So a lot of times I see benefits of having a really short-term friend, and if I have a long-term friend, I'm like, oh, that's annoying, And those are my current beliefs. And yes, in a way they're cool, but in another way they're kind of limiting. They're holding me back in a way where I will only have friends who are really short term. And yes, that's kind of cool, but I think I would like to have some longer term friends, especially, if I were to be married and had a girlfriend, A lot of my female romantic relationships are also very short. I can't hold on to long-term friends. I don't even have whatever friends, normal friends. So here I start typing out what are some beliefs I think I have. Okay, I typed them out, and I'm being really honest, and I'm just kind of going with my gut feeling. And I'm writing stuff like, I hang out with friends only when it's convenient to me. Developing too close relationships with friends is bad. They will betray you. Life is about achieving many accomplishments, doing whatever it takes. Friendships are obstacles that get in the way and cause regret. Now, you guys who are reading this, don't get offended or whatever. This is really honest, digging stuff that has been going through in my mind. Some of this might even cause pain triggers when you're reading it. You might even get angry just looking at this. And because it's really real stuff. And of course, I'm not saying I want to hold on to these beliefs. If it's no longer serving me, we are going to let them go. I'm going to let them go. And then I'm going to replace it with a more positive, loving belief instead of something that's negative. Here, I have a lot of beliefs that are fear-based. Look, hanging out with a bunch of friends is exhausting. Developing relationships is pointless unless there's a goal or purpose, in mind. A lot of it's really selfish-based. It's a lot of fear-based stuff. And I mean, one of the first steps into clearing this stuff out is first admitting that you have these beliefs. This way you can release them. If you're not even mindful that these thoughts exist in your head, you can't really move forward. Okay, so I think I'm about done typing everything out. So basically, later I'm going to release this stuff, and I am also going to write the opposite of every one of these things, every one of these relationships. My relationship with friends, I'm going to write down a more positive, more love-based thing instead of something that is a fear-based mentality. Okay, this is really hard multitasking. Okay, so the first thing, this is kind of negative. I hang out with friends only when it's convenient for me. That's actually kind of hard. Oh, let me see. How do you feel when you are hanging out but feel like you need to be working instead? Oh, okay. So I felt like I needed to dig a little bit further, and ask myself, how do you feel? And I said that a lot of times if I have like a homework assignment in high school but I'm hanging out with friends, I'd feel guilty, So I'm trying to figure out a way to transform this belief into a belief that is more positive. When I hang out with friends, I am fully present and in the moment. I enjoy and savor the experience. I'm able to separate work and pleasure. So that's a positive belief. So I can enjoy friendships to the highest good. Okay. My close friends are trustworthy and are there when I need them. Okay. So basically, I'm looking at the sentence and I'm writing the exact opposite. The reason why it's important to write the exact opposite instead of just releasing these beliefs, like if you write, I will not be an asshole, right? Your subconscious mind doesn't read the not part. So instead of saying, I will not be an asshole, you have to write, I will be a kind, compassionate person. You have to write what you want instead. Here I wrote, in fact, I know that friends can push me to create even better work. Let me see. My friends compose of some of the best parts of my friends and relationships compose of some of the best parts of my life. I've lived for the time I spend with my friends and the meaningful relationships we develop. Yes. With friends, you can produce great work and have a powerful impact on the world. You can enjoy your successes with friends. So the next sentence, I say my friends discourage me and their negativity inspires me to prove them wrong. So instead I wrote, my friends are able to tell me the truth and often give good advice that is useful, insightful, and beneficial to me. Hey, so that sounds pretty good. They inspire me to live up to my highest and greatest good. So instead of manifesting friends who maybe talk negative stuff, maybe have friends who are smart and tell you advice that's good. When I am tired and need alone time, sometimes I hang out with friends like just too much and I need a break, but I feel bad leaving. And this is saying when I'm tired and need alone time, I know how to tactfully step away and rest. I think that's something I need to learn. I can develop relationships for the sake of making friends. The journey itself is the reward. Okay, I think that's about it. And I can savor the experience of friendships and develop long-lasting, meaningful relationships with people. I am able to have friends to spark joy in my life. Yeah, okay. So I think this is looking pretty good. I know which people to include in my life and which to leave out. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay, so yesterday I did the friendship digging thing. Now I decided that it wasn't enough. It didn't really get to the bottom. So I wanted to dig a little bit more and explore a little bit further in my mind. And is this correct? Yeah. So basically, there's two things about friendship I'm writing down, and one is serving others, and the other one is, can you balance relationships and work? Oh, yeah. Okay. So these are two separate subjects. And first, I'm going to look into relationships and work. And so in Theta Healing, this is called digging, where I'm looking through, if you guys seen the movie Inside Out, did you guys see how a lot of experiences you had as a child really affect who you are later growing up? And basically what I'm doing is I'm really looking at my childhood experiences, my previous experiences, and how they have shaped my beliefs. So basically, I know that health and work together, yes, they go hand in hand, because I've read a book called Spark, and it was basically when you focus on having a healthy body, you're able to be more productive. But if you have better relationships, does that take away from work or does that help it? From what I've seen is, a lot of marriages suffer when you have a lot of work and stuff. So I kind of see marriage and work, or friendship and work kind of conflicting with each other. All right. But it's possible to not be like that. And here I'm looking at, hey, is work all about life? So I'm asking myself these questions, and I'm trying to find out the beliefs that I have, but I don't know I have. These are called subconscious beliefs. And you can tell whether or not you have these beliefs just by the feeling. It's like sometimes you get like a lump in your throat when you have it, which it's kind of like, I don't want to admit it, but I do believe that is true. You might be watching this video and you might be like, oh, I don't have the belief at all. And that's probably because you don't have it. But there's other things where it's like, oh, I can relate to that. You probably have the same subconscious belief. Okay, so now I'm going to see, it says second grade friend. So I'm going into childhood experiences. And this is an experience where I had a best friend, but he played with other kids and I got jealous. And I was kind of sad, I was like, oh no, I don't have a best friend. I remember when I was in childhood, like it was a big deal to have a best friend or something. And, I was moving a little bit. In third grade, what happened? Okay, so basically here, I'm looking into, there are a lot of friends that I've had at an early age, and they would kind of disappear. And early on, I got the impression that, friends are really ephemeral. They're really, really temporary. Don't be too attached, because they'll just leave. Here, a sense that I learned that friendships were ephemeral. And definitely, this is a pattern that you can change. But if this is the pattern that you grew up with, you'll keep on repeating this pattern in your life unless you find out, how is it serving you, release the pattern, have a new pattern, have maybe longer term friends, have friends that will always be there for you. It's possible to have that. And this was kind of a child trauma, so what I was just doing was just releasing the trauma to love and light. Heal with love, peace, and joy. And it's really important to ask, how does this experience serve you? Meaning, you go through everything for a reason, and once you find out the reason is, then you'll have a chance of really moving on. So what was a lesson that you were supposed to learn? Oh, here this makes me angry to this day. I remember in 3rd grade, there's this guy named Fabian in our group, and he was just talking smack on everyone in our group of friends. And I was angry. He was, out of all our friends, he was probably one of the smartest ones, but he wasn't really athletic. So I think he was jealous. So he would try to break up the group or like take people out. And I think it was a group of 4 or 5 friends. And the thing is, when you're working in a group project together, you want the smartest kids. And it's like, if there's too many friends, and then it's like you can only have 4 friends in a group project, whatever. Man, that was really weird, dude. I need to release that. I still have it. Like, these things that bother you, they still bother you unless you decide to forgive. I need to forgive that. Jeez. How does that make me feel? I don't know. This friendship thing is really hard. It's 30 minutes through, and actually, spoiler alert, I didn't reach a conclusion, even though I did this. So I spent about an hour doing this digging, and it's okay, man. It's okay. Basically, I asked Creator or God, like, friendship, to show me what friendship really means. Okay, basically, look on the screen, right? I realized that when I'm looking at friendships, I do have positive experiences with friends, but they're mostly with people through work. Either through coworkers, through Project Life Coach, through Art Center, through art school. So I have friends, but they're only created during times of like work or study, and which is great because the friendships are really close, But after the work is over, it's like after military service is over or something like that, then the friendship dissolves and it's not weakened. And even when you do try to spend time together, it's not the same type of close friendship it once was when you guys were actively working together. And I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's fine because you get to make new friends, and you get to let the old ones go. But at the same time, it kind of sucks because you have these friends and then they're gone. And I don't know about that. So I was like, okay, I have friends when I'm working. What about for fun? Yes, I do have friends for fun too. When I go travel, when I was in Shanghai, Taiwan, I just made that blog. I do have friends. And again, they're also kind of short term. So it seems friendship is conditional on circumstances. Like, people have these friends for like 8 years or something, and I don't know how that works, It's like, how do you have friends for that long? I'm not really sure. Like, a lot of times I'm changing so fast. My friends change as I change. And it's like, I think it's because I don't want to be around the same type of person or something like that. So as you can see, I just kind of had an epiphany. This is like digging. I'm digging into my own subconscious mind. I'm trying to find out what are my beliefs. And basically, it's the second time because I wrote it and now I'm talking through it. So it's like I'm like doing like a double dig. And of course, I think this is good doing this because even if I don't have a solution, I find out what my problems are. and maybe in the future, maybe I read an article on friendship or I see a YouTube video, then I'll start connecting the dots together. So here I'm saying, I don't even know what friendship is about. Please teach me. And that's directed towards Creator or God. Just towards like some higher power. Just admitting that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. And maybe in the YouTube comments, if you have some ideas on friends, please leave your comments below, what you think friendship is about. Because honestly, I've looked up like Barnes Noble's, Amazon's, there are not many books on friendships besides that fucking book called Win People and Influence, Manipulate, whatever, by Stephen Covey. It's not really, it's about business and negotiation. It's not really about friendship, okay? There's a lot of books on relationships and sex and husband-wife marriage counseling, but on friendships, there's not really books. So maybe I'll write a book on it after I figure it out, and I'll dominate, like I'll start like a new niche industry, because all these kids nowadays, they're really good with like social media and online, but real life friends, I think we're weaker at it because we don't do it as often. We don't do the calling and stuff. So here I'm digging something new. I'm looking at serving others, okay? And I realize that I don't like serving others. I only like to have friends when there's something I need to do, and it's almost like you use people. And I guess that's how I kind of experienced things. That's what it's like in my mind. Of course, it's not positive. It's definitely a limiting experience, So I'll probably have some judgmental people below saying like, oh, you shouldn't have friends to just use your friends. Of course not. You shouldn't. Okay? Of course it's bad and it's a limiting belief. And so I'm working on it. But it's really important to admit that you have these beliefs. When you're watching this video, you might have the same thing too. And usually the people who are really critical and they're like, oh, I can't believe you use your friends. You are such a bad person. Usually the people who say that are the ones projecting. They probably do the same too. Have you heard of the thing you point one finger at others and then the other four fingers point at yourself, So it's kind of like that. And so more about this projection thing. It's like I have a friend, right? And he used to be really fat. And when he sees other fat, lazy people, he gets really angry. He's like, oh man, that guy, he's skinny now, okay? But he used to be really fat. And when he sees other fat people, he gets really judgmental because he used to be really fat himself and he hasn't let that go yet. But when I see really fat people, I get really, I don't really care because I've never used to be fat. On the other hand, when I meet someone who's really arrogant, who likes talking a lot, who thinks he's right, then I get really angry. I'm like, that guy is such a cocky motherfucker, But my friend who is more humble, he's like, yeah, he doesn't bother me at all. I don't get angry at what he's saying. And then it's just like the people you get angry at the most are typically, it's because you see that in yourself. That's why a lot of mothers, they see their daughters, right, doing something, and they get angry at their daughters because they used to do the same thing. They're still a part of that. Okay, so let's look at this thing, okay? So basically, I looked at a bunch of experiences. My mom used to help out with temple. My mom used to help out this coworker, and the lesson learned was it was just too much work. It was stressed out. They didn't appreciate her. Blah blah blah. So it's a bunch of examples I've dug up from my childhood experience from early on, saying that helping others is bad, serving others is bad, And here's another one. It's about filial piety, 孝顺, where filial piety was a Confucius kind of thing. But my experience with it is more like, it seems like it's just to ensure the financial and social and health stability of the older generation. It seems really transactional to me instead of something that is out of pure giving, So that is also a negative experience. Recently, my mom was talking to my cousin about like gifts, and Christmas just came, and she was asking like, oh, how much did this person give you, and how much did this person give them? Oh, that's $30, $50. That means we need to get them an $80 gift in return. And it's like, come on, mom, like these things, it's almost like you're doing a business transaction, but giving gifts isn't about, so business-like. It's more about you want to do it, you know? And she was like, well, no, you still have to get like an approximate evaluation. If someone gives you $100 gift, you don't want to give them a $10 gift. That'll look bad. Which definitely does make sense. But here, it's just the overall impression where I feel like helping people is a really transactional experience. It's really 现实, which means really like practical, like really like superficial, I guess. I don't know. So I'm looking at that. So I could hold on to those beliefs, or I can release them and replace them with better ones. And I don't know what the better ones are, to be honest. And this is actually very hard for me. And I don't know what the reaction on this video going to be, but I think it's really important that I just try, I put it out there, and eventually I'll make a better one. I'll probably make a friendship video part 2, because spoiler alert, I didn't really get to the bottom of it. I kind of gave up after a while, but I decided that, hey, I want to finish this video and just put it out there, and maybe I'll come back to it later, but I just want to do half of it and then finish half. So at least I finished half of it. It's not like I started on it and I didn't finish it. I finished what I started. And that's really important, because when I do KonMari and stuff, that's what I try to do too. I try to finish up what I start. Okay, so here I'm writing down my limiting beliefs. You're probably already familiar with this. And so I'm kind of looking through what I've dug through, and I'm trying to deduce it. Is that a word? Deduce it? You know, just make it into something that is like, oh, that's what it is, into a statement. And I don't think I'm finished digging yet, so I want to dig some more. Like, I deduced some limiting beliefs down, but I realized that, hey, I think I need a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more about emotions. So I found the emotions of annoyed, judgmental, and better than them. And then from like the helping nonprofits, there's an apathy. There's a fuck it, don't do it anymore. Oh, I remember there used to be this guy that everyone used to make fun of in when I was in like 2nd grade, and I used to be nice to him because everyone else made fun of him. So I kind of felt bad. And one time, like, I remember one time in camp, he wanted to be like my bunkmate for something, and people were mad at me because I was like the only one nice to him. And one time I asked him for a pencil when I was in the front of the class, and he said no. And I was like, what the fuck? Because then I had to go all the way back, but it was like, I was being nice to you, like one of the only people in class. But I realized, you know what it was? It was like, I was being nice to you because I felt sorry for you, and you should be nice to me back. You should be grateful for my friendship to you. I guess that's kind of a patronizing response, you know, if you're really honest with that. I was being kind of patronizing. So I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry to that guy, Chris R. Rashidian. So I'm looking at, what is friendship? Is it unconditional love? You need to help someone because you want to help them. Because, I remember I had this ex-girlfriend who talked to me about helping people and stuff. I'm not really good at it. Helping people makes you happy because you want to help them. Innate desire. It's okay if they don't pay you back. Gary V. If you help 10 people, maybe one of them will return the favor, and that's good. So basically, I'm not talking about unconditional beliefs anymore. These are like more positive beliefs. Yeah. I don't think there's videos like this out there, where you kind of explore your own subconscious mind. And it's definitely a really vulnerable thing. Also, people do it, but it's not as visual as this. So I think this might be something that is kind of interesting, because an audience could look at it and it could be kind of interesting, just like the methodology, just like the way I write questions and stuff, and I do typing, and it's pretty quick, and doing like the voiceover stuff. So maybe it's interesting to you. So I think that's about it with the video. So I'm trying to release the limiting beliefs and yeah. Oh no. There's still a bit more. Yeah, before I paused and um, I think this is a point where I asked God to teach me and show me what friendship is about, and that's about the end of the video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it wasn't the best demonstration of theta healing. It wasn't like really textbook theta healing per se. I didn't do that great of a job, but it was an attempt. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I definitely think I learned a little bit more about making theta healing videos, and doing this digging did help me, and maybe you can relate to some of the things that I've said in the video, you know. And definitely friendship is something I do want to work on. Leave your comments below if you have advice for me on friendships. I'm not the best at it. There's not a lot of material or books written on friendships, and I might even do a video series on what friendships are about. So yeah, thanks guys.